Hello, everyone. I'm Christina Anastasio with AARP New Jersey, and I want to welcome you to our monthly AARP New Jersey Fraud Friday Facebook Live. We are continuing to have important discussions on fraud and scams happening right here in our state. Today, we're joined by special guest Greg Botti. Greg is currently with the Newark Division of the U.S. Postal Inspection Service and has investigated a variety of criminal matters, including revenue fraud, mail fraud, and identity theft. He oversees a team that investigates major fraud cases, including investment fraud, elder financial exploitation, and money laundering crimes. He's involved in numerous fraud prevention initiatives throughout New Jersey. We want this to be an interactive discussion today, so if you have a question for our guest, please type it in the comments section, and we will do our best to get to it live. We're looking forward to a great conversation today. Greg, thank you so much for joining us. Today, I'd like to discuss a growing area of fraud, which isn't often talked about: money mules. Can you first explain to us what a money mule is?
Hi, Christina. It's great to be here with you today, and happy Fraud Friday to all the viewers tuning in. To start off, money mules are people who receive and transfer money obtained from victims of fraud. Some money mules know that they've been recruited to assist in the criminal activity. We call those witting, or people who have knowledge. And others become money mules without realizing their activity is benefiting the fraudsters. And those are unwitting participants who may have been victimized through different fraud schemes themselves.
Wow. So how do you know if you've transferred money that was obtained from a victim of fraud? Can you tell us how money mules are recruited, what to look out for? What are those signs?
Sure. So that's a good question. And to the viewers, that should always be the question. If you get money put into your bank account, somebody mails you a check or money orders, you should be asking, where did that money come from? Why am I entitled to that money? Because it's not yours, and it could very well be the proceeds of a scam. So money mules are recruited through different ways. Criminal elements usually use several methods. One of the first ones that we see is work from home scams. There may be a job posting that offers easy money, such as reshipping packages, buying gift cards, or postal money orders, and any type of money movement or wire transfer that could be done from home. Another one is called confidence scams. A person or business you don't know offers you a cut or commission if you transfer the money for them. And many of these scammers are active on social media sites. A third different one is lottery scams. A person informs you that you need to transfer or accept money in order to collect winnings for a prize or money, or maybe pay taxes and fees. And the fourth, another popular one, unfortunately, is romance scams or online dating schemes. A person you've met online or on an app says they're romantically interested in you and asks for your help to transfer money or packages, before they can meet you.
Absolutely. So I do want to remind our viewers, if you have a question for our guest today, please type it into the comment section and we will do our best to get to it live. So, Greg, we know within 2 months of 2020, the Department of Justice reported U.S. law enforcement took action against more than 2,300 money mules, far surpassing the previous year's effort, which acted against over 600 money mules. What do you think is behind this increase, and what can be done to stop this type of scam?
In 2020, we saw the pandemic, and many people were either working from home. They may have lost their jobs and were seeking employment or income through other sources. And unfortunately, like many times, we see the scammers, or the fraudsters, as I call them. They seek to capitalize on these opportunities, and they may try to reach out to people who are just trying to, make some honest money from home and get them kind of caught up in these types of criminal scams. So the Money Mule initiative is part of the Department of Justice, along with the Postal Inspection Service, the FBI, and other law enforcement partners. And what we do, it's an organized effort. And what we're trying to do is identify these transnational fraudsters, through different means. Um, something, and it's a wide range of scams. We talked about a few of them today, but it also is government imposter scams, like people who are saying they're the FBI, the IRS, or the FBI, or Social Security. Tech support scams. You have an issue with your computer. There's a virus. You have a software problem. Business email compromises, or we call CEO fraud, where we see these sometimes with, maybe you're closing on a mortgage, or, you're doing some type of large legal settlement, and the scammer somehow get involved and they change up the email site, and you think you're going to wire the money to an attorney, but at the same time, you might be sending it, to a scammer. And another thing we saw a lot of was unemployment insurance fraud, um, because of the different COVID-19 and the CARES Act fraud monies that were, available to U.S. citizens. But many of these schemes target elderly or vulnerable members of our society.
So absolutely. So it sounds like it was kind of the perfect storm in 2020 for an increase in these scams. So we want to help our viewers protect themselves from this type of fraud. Do you have any tips on how our viewers can best protect themselves from frauds and this type of fraud and scams?
Sure. And these are different types of fraud awareness, tips or that we share, and it could be related to money mule, could be related to, investment fraud. And these questions that you could or should be asking, if you come into something that, sounds suspicious or just doesn't sound right. So to protect yourself, don't engage in financial transactions with strangers. Don't take a job that promises easy money and involves sending or receiving money or packages. Check any work from home opportunity or money transferring offer with a trusted family member or friend. You can always contact your local Better Business Bureau chapter, or if you have online access to your state's corporate directory, to help verify if the business is legitimate. And always report money mule activity or scams as soon as possible.
So what is the best way to report a money mule scam?
There's several different ways. You can report it to the U.S. Postal Inspection Service. We do have a public website where you can learn more about money mule scams. There's some public service announcements on there. You can file a mail fraud complaint. We do have a toll-free number that you can call into our national center to take fraud complaints. And we always encourage people that you can report fraud or suspicious activity to your local police departments. This way to get a report on file, or the Federal Trade Commission, which is another government entity that watches over and protects consumers. So the key is to report it. Always check your bank account statements, your credit cards, to make sure there's no erroneous charges or suspicious wire transfers or any movement of funds that you didn't authorize or charges that you didn't make yourself.
Great advice. And I always like to say, going back to some of those tips you shared before, if it's too good to be true, it usually is. And so, you just want to keep an eye out for all those things. So that's great advice, Greg. Thank you so much. I think all of this information has been so valuable to our viewers. Do you have any last thoughts that you'd like to share with our viewers today?
So we talked a little bit about our Money Mule initiative. And an important part of it, beside the enforcement action that we do as law enforcement officers, is the outreach campaign. Just like we're doing today, and AARP New Jersey has been a fantastic partner. But it's just getting out and speaking to people and letting them learn about how fraudsters use and recruit money mules throughout the country. But I think awareness is probably one of the most important things, because transferring money and valuables on behalf of others only benefits the criminals and may lead to serious consequences for you.
Absolutely. And at AARP, we like to say, if you can spot a scam, you can stop a scam. So I think that education and awareness campaign that you're talking about is just so, so important. So thank you so much, Greg, for this informative discussion. We are so thrilled that you could join us today to share these tips, best practices, and resources so that we can protect ourselves and our loved ones from fraud and scams. For our viewers, if you're concerned that you've been scammed, you can reach a trained volunteer at the AARP Fraud Watch Network helpline at 877-908-3360. Again, that's 877-908-3360. If you'd like more information on fraud and scams and resources from AARP New Jersey, you can visit aarp.org/njfightsfraud. Again, one more time, that's aarp.org/njfightsfraud. We hope that you learned something new today about how you can stay safe from fraud and scams. Thank you all and have a great day.
Thank you, Christina, very much. And to everyone out there, stay safe and have a great weekend.
Thanks, Greg.